Hi everyone, my name is Anton. This is one video from a series about comparing edge platforms for computer vision. In a series of this video, I compare platform not only in terms of performance, but also from side of convenience and simplicity for development. One video, one platform. All videos are available on my channel, and at the link in the description you can find a final table with different boards and the article about choosing logic. Today I want to talk about the Hailo-8 board. It's the first board in this series that I didn't have in my hand, so here is the images, but my friends from Danish company gives me such access to the development prototype. As the development board, they have ROC chip 3399 with Hailo-8 on it. My story will consist from three parts. In the first part, I evaluate the board on several important criteria for computer vision boards. In the second part, I tell different ways to develop on this board. And in the third part, I will say something that didn't fall into this structure and my impression about this board. Let's start. The Hailo-8 is not a microcomputer. It's an accelerator board. It connects via an M2 or mini-PCI Express interface, so you don't need to flash the Hailo itself. You just install the drivers and deploy the Docker container on the target machine. It's the same as Intel videos. The only problem is you can be sure that Hailo will work on any board. There is a list of boards where the manufacturer provides compatibility. You can find examples of board where the system works in the internet, for example, ROC chip 3399. But you can be 100% sure that any new boards won't cause many problems. So how is it to flash? I say it's about 4.5 star. How is it to work? The Hailo documentation is one of the best I ever seen during this series of video. It reminds me of old MSDN documentation. The board more or less matches the documentation. And here is the downside. The Hailo documentation is closed. You can't find it in the internet. There is hardly any community around the board. And if you have a problem, you need to contact official support. You can just Google the problem. There is no good repository with a list of issues. The support is good, and they will answer any of your questions. But as you can imagine, this slows down development, especially if you're a very small team. I would give Hailo 4 stars for the simplicity of work. How conventional is Linux? You are using the usual Linux for the board you work on. There are plans, as far as I understand, Hailo even will work with Windows sometime. So this criteria doesn't apply to this board. Community support. As you have already understood from the paragraph above, there is essentially no community support. And it's a very sad part about the Hailo platform, because you can't look how the community will work with this board and how people will resolve their troubles. Let's speak about the models. Official Model Zoo. The board has a wonderful fleet of models. Check it out. Most models are standard, but there are a few special ones specifically for this board. Each model has all the files, original files, converted files, compiled files, and it's excellent because you can just retrain one of this model and it will work. Speaking of the minuses, I would say that not all models from this list will work. For example, I have failed to run mobile net SSD, which I use to compare different boards. It's one of the models I use. But anyway, I will give Hailo 5 stars because the structure is good and the mount of the model is excellent. Unofficial Model Zoo. As you understand, there are no community around the board, so there are no unofficial models for Hailo from different vendors. Easy to convert random models. Excellent board, very cool, almost everything. You can convert almost everything. Super detailed documentation about conversion. I would say that the quality and detail of the converter are very close to platform like OpenVINA and TensorRT. I have converted a few non-standard models and they all worked without problems. So I will give 5 stars to Hailo. Easy to debug problems with the conversion, amount of debug info. And I want to say that the debug info much better than OpenVINA and TensorRT. In my opinion, it's the most detailed error log that you can ever find. Because in the debug log there run not only the problems but also the hints on what can go wrong. For example, in the case of YOLO models conversion, the conversion inference will tell you some necessary changes you need to make for a successful conversion of the model. Usually the conversion system only tells you the problem and not the solution. And Hailo is the only problem that will try to resolve your problems itself. So in my opinion, it's excellent behavior, 5 stars. Now let's talk about how good the Hailo-8 for real products. Processor speed. Hailo doesn't have a processor, so there is nothing to tell. Mechanical parts and construction. Hailo doesn't make modules ready for small projects. To use Hailo, you need to find a carrier board and provide heat dissipation and mounting. And if you are ready for this, you are okay. But the positioning for some small application is rather inconvenient. You either have to build the platform yourself or find someone to build them for you. For example, for me, the test build was done by a Danish company, as I already mentioned. So I'll give 2 grades for Hailo for mechanical part and construction point. 5 star for large companies and 3 for small companies and individual researchers. Easy to buy. It's harder to buy than any platform like my videos or something like this. You won't find the Hailo board on the open market. You have to write a request to the manufacturer, and the price is not fixed. One price will be for small batches, another for debug samples, and the third is for large quantity of Hailo boards. Plus, you do not have to forget about the carrier boards. And the price of carrier boards also can be different. When I talked to Danny, they told me the current platform price is around 130 USD, which looks pretty good. So I would give Hailo 3 stars for easiness of buy. Pin for external connectors. And as you can imagine, there aren't any ready pin. You need to use pins from your original platform. Okay, let's move speed test. Let's move to the most interesting part. Speed test for computer vision, and there is a lot of interesting stuff right here. I will start with some very interesting observation which clearly distinguish Hailo from other platforms. The first observation. For Hailo, the size of the batches that you inferred is very important. You usually don't get a boost from the NVIDIA GPU when you have more than 4 images in the batch. For Hailo, when we was going from 10 images in the batch to 100, we got 2 or 3 times speed increase, and it's pretty unusual. But we're having pretty small neural networks. The second important observation. I have not been able to test it, but for the Hailo, the CPU speed of the main board is very important. The official tests are published for Intel i5 processor, I assume. I had the same neural networks running much slower for Rockchip processor. So probably it's pretty important point when you will construct your platform. Okay, let's move to the test. In my test, I use a batch size 1. It's very bad for Hailo platform, as you can mention. Probably with increasing of the batch, you can get like 5 or 6 times acceleration, for at least for some neural networks. As I said, I could not convert all the neural networks for the performance test, only around 5 of them. So you can see a comparison board right here. And as you can see, Hailo has 2 features. It's fast. It's faster than any other board in my series of tests. And it has low latency memory access. So the speed of smallest neural network will be faster than any other board, probably except Google Coral. But you may notice that the Hailo acceleration completely different for different neural networks. For example, ResNet 15 runs with the same speed as Hades or Jetson, but YOLO V5 runs 5 times faster. So it's pretty interesting platform. Anyway, it will be faster than any other board in the comparison, but you need to make a lot of tests for your specific neural network and for your specific hardware platform for Hailo, like Rockchip or any other board. And you can get the final speed only when you will compare the final neural network and final board. In the second part of the story, I talk about the basic development pipeline at Hailo. And that's where it gets complicated. Hailo has a many development option. Take a look on this image. I haven't tried most of them, but at Denny the guys used tapas. In my opinion, it's some analog of deep stream or media pipe approach. ONNX runtime and GStreamer look cute, but I haven't tested them. And for ONNX runtime, you need to use a special forked version of ONNX runtime, so probably it will not work the same like original version. In my tests, I used a direct approach through Hailo-8. And that's what I will tell you. With this approach, you start by converting and compiling the model. You can use models from TensorFlow, like TensorFlow 1, TensorFlow 2, or even TensorFlow Lite, or ONNX model. The conversion process is divided into 4 steps. Model translation from ONNX. I will use ONNX in my in these videos, but you can change it with TensorRT model. Model translation from ONNX. On this step, Hailo SDK will check all the layers. We'll check that all the layers will work on the board and convert the model into Hailo format. The second step is model optimization. Here the Hailo SDK will provide model calibration and convert into int8. The third step, model modification, and this is an optional step. But at this stage you can append additional operation. For example, you can integrate normalization, model image resizing into your model. So you will work with this operation on the Hailo board, not on your processor. You can even make some compression and make some optimization of the final model. And for example, it will give you probably some additional speed, and the size of the model will be less. But it's an optional step. Fourth step, model compilation. At this stage, the most interesting thing happens. The model is transferred to the device, and the SDK search for optimal inference approach. And as you can see, this process is much longer than any other model compiler that I mention in my videos. But it gives you a lot of room for possibility of customization and optimization your model. And once you finally will have a compiled model, the inference look the same as dozens of other platforms. In my opinion, the process is more closer to like Jetson. You configure a stream of data coming into the device and the stream of data going out of it. And it will look something like this. After that, it's just normal inference and everything will work. Summary and my opinion. I liked Hailo. You can see that is a very elaborate platform. I would say it's almost on par with Intel and NVIDIA platform. It have best performance for this price, in my opinion. And I think Hailo will be very cool for many industrial applications. I assume we will see it in the next few years everywhere. And a few words about the Hailo problems. It seemed to me that Hailo is a complicated platform. Maybe more examples or already assembled pipelines will resolve this problem. Maybe some ready-made demos for complex cases like license plate recognition or some uniform recognition, for example. When your pipeline consists of several various neural networks, the abundance of tool makes it impossible to quickly understand what the board manufacturer has in his mind for such pipeline. It will also help you determine which neural network speed you need to expect from different types of models. So it's the first problem because no community and so no community is the second problem, but the first problem, the process around the board, they are pretty complicated for new developer. And the second problem is, of course, it's lack of community that will provide such examples probably and will provide some additional info about the board, how to work with this, how to resolve some problems, and so on. But I don't think that it's critical problems. It's just the things that will drag some of your times. In short, my opinion will be like this. The platform was much better and more convenient than I was expecting from it. And it's excellent. Anyway, it's very cool to find some boards that is comparable to OpenVINO boards or some Jetson-based boards. So thank you for your time. I hope this will help you. Bye.